What if the greatest change in your life begins the moment you stop assuming that everything is going wrong? Most people walk through life reacting to circumstances. When something good happens, they feel confident. When something unexpected happens, they become afraid. When a door closes, they immediately believe they have failed. Their peace depends on what happens outside of them. But imagine developing a different way of living. Imagine waking up each morning with the quiet belief that whatever happens today, you will find a way through it. Not because everything will happen exactly as you want, but because you trust your ability to respond, adapt, learn, and continue. This is what it means to act as if everything always works out. It is not pretending that pain does not exist. It is not ignoring reality. It is not sitting back and expecting life to solve your problems. It is a discipline of the mind. When something goes wrong, instead of immediately saying, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin asking, "What is this teaching me?" When something ends, you stop assuming that your story has ended with it. When progress becomes slow, you stop interpreting delay as defeat. And when you cannot see the path ahead, you learn to trust the step directly in front of you. Life will never give you complete certainty. There will always be unanswered questions, unexpected changes, disappointments, and moments when your plans collapse. But you can become the kind of person who remains steady inside uncertainty. Because the real goal is not to control everything that happens. The real goal is to stop allowing everything that happens to control you. Your circumstances may change, people may change, opportunities may appear and disappear, plans may succeed or fail, but your response can become stronger. Your patience can become deeper. Your discipline can become more consistent. Your mind can become calmer. And when you build that inner strength, you begin to understand something powerful. Maybe everything does not have to go according to your plan for everything to eventually work out. Sometimes the closed door protects you. Sometimes the delay prepares you. Sometimes the failure redirects you. Sometimes the ending creates space for something you could not yet imagine. You may not understand the meaning of a moment while you are living through it. That is why you must learn to keep moving without demanding immediate answers. Trust does not mean knowing exactly what will happen. Trust means knowing that whatever happens, you will meet it with strength. So today, stop looking at your current circumstances as the final definition of your life. This is only a moment. Your story is still moving. Your character is still developing. Your future is still being built through the choices you make today. Take a breath. Release the need to know everything. Focus on what is within your control. And step forward with this quiet conviction. I may not know how everything will work out, but I trust myself to keep going until it does. You must learn to trust the process before you see the result. This is one of the hardest lessons because the human mind wants evidence. It wants to know that the effort is working before it continues. It wants confirmation that the decision was correct, that the opportunity will arrive, that the difficult season will end, and that the sacrifice will eventually be rewarded. But growth rarely gives you proof in advance. Sometimes you have to continue while the results are still invisible. Think about how a seed grows. When it is placed beneath the soil, you cannot immediately see a tree. You see nothing, yet something is happening beneath the surface. Roots are developing before branches appear. Your life works in the same way. There are periods when your effort seems to produce nothing. You are learning, working, exercising discipline, improving your character, changing your habits, and becoming more focused, but your external circumstances may look exactly the same. Do not mistake invisible progress for no progress. Your patience may be growing, your discipline may be strengthening, your awareness may be becoming sharper, your standards may be changing, your ability to handle pressure may be increasing. These things may not receive applause, but they are preparing you for results you are not yet capable of seeing. This is why you must stop demanding immediate proof. If you only continue when life rewards you quickly, you will become dependent on motivation. But if you learn to continue without immediate results, you develop something far more valuable: discipline. Trusting the process does not mean sitting still and expecting everything to magically improve. It means doing your part without becoming obsessed with controlling the outcome. You prepare, you practice, you take action, you correct your mistakes, you remain patient. Then you allow time to do its work. There will be moments when you question yourself. That is normal. Doubt does not mean you must stop. Fear does not mean the direction is wrong. Sometimes the greatest test is whether you can remain committed when nobody can yet see what you are becoming. So keep moving. You do not need to see the entire path. You only need enough courage to take the next step. Trust yourself before the evidence arrives. Work before the reward appears. Remain steady before the results become visible. Because often, the moment you are tempted to give up is not proof that the process has failed. It may simply be the moment when patience is being tested. And if you continue with wisdom, discipline, and faith in your ability to adapt, you may eventually look back and realize that the process was working all along. Most people make one mistake when life becomes difficult. They confuse what is happening now with what will happen forever. A setback happens, and the mind immediately creates a conclusion. This always happens to me. Nothing ever works out. I will never recover. But a difficult moment is only a moment. It is not a prediction of your entire future. You must learn to separate the present circumstance from the story you attach to it. Imagine losing an opportunity you deeply wanted. Your first reaction may be disappointment. That is natural, but disappointment does not need to become despair. You can acknowledge the loss without turning it into an identity. You can say, "This did not work," not "I cannot succeed." There is strength in that distinction. One describes an event, the other condemns the person. Your mind will often try to protect you by predicting the worst. It believes that if you expect disappointment, you will be prepared for it. But constantly expecting failure does not protect you. It trains you to see every obstacle as evidence that your life is falling apart. Instead, train yourself to observe without exaggerating. Something went wrong. Accept it. Something ended. Accept it. A person disappointed you. Learn from it. A plan failed. Adjust it. Then ask yourself the most important question. What is still possible from here? That question keeps your attention on movement. You may not be able to change what happened yesterday, but you can change what you do today. You may not control another person's decision, but you can control the meaning you give to it. You may not be able to reopen a closed door, but you can decide whether you will continue searching for another. This is how resilience is built, not by avoiding difficult experiences, but by refusing to let temporary difficulties become permanent beliefs. Remember, a storm can interrupt your journey without becoming your destination. You may be walking through a season of uncertainty right now. Do not demand that the season explain itself immediately. Keep learning, keep working, keep improving, keep taking the next step. One day, you may look back and realize that the experience you thought was destroying your progress was actually developing the patience, discipline, wisdom, and courage you needed for the next chapter. So do not judge your entire future from one difficult day. The story is not finished. Keep moving as if there is still something ahead of you worth discovering. Because there is. One of the most important forms of strength is learning to control your response rather than trying to control the entire world. You cannot control what another person thinks about you. You cannot control whether someone chooses to stay or leave. You cannot control whether an opportunity appears at the exact moment you want it. You cannot control unexpected delays, disappointments, misunderstandings, or changes in circumstances. But you can control what you do next. This distinction can completely change the way you live. Many people waste enormous amounts of energy fighting against things that were never within their control. They replay conversations, worry about other people's opinions, imagine every possible negative outcome, and become frustrated because reality refuses to follow their expectations. But the more you try to control the uncontrollable, the more powerless you feel. Instead, bring your attention back to yourself. Ask, what is actually within my influence right now? Perhaps you cannot control whether someone respects you, but you can control whether you respect yourself. You cannot control whether the opportunity works out, but you can control how prepared you are when the next opportunity appears. You cannot control whether the past changes, but you can control what you learn from it. You cannot control tomorrow, but you can use today wisely. This is where inner stability begins. When something unexpected happens, give yourself a moment before reacting. Do not allow the first emotion to become the final decision. Anger may appear, but you do not have to act from anger. Fear may appear, but you do not have to obey fear. Disappointment may appear, but you do not have to surrender your direction. Observe the emotion, understand it, then choose your response. This does not mean becoming emotionless, it means becoming conscious. A calm person is not someone who never experiences difficult emotions. A calm person is someone who does not allow every emotion to take control of their behavior. Your power is found in that small space between what happens and what you choose to do about it. And the more you practice using that space wisely, the stronger you become. Eventually, you stop asking life to become easier. You begin becoming better at meeting life as it is. That is real freedom. You cannot command the world to give you the outcome you desire, but you can train yourself to remain disciplined, patient, adaptable, and courageous, regardless of the outcome. And when you develop that ability, uncertainty becomes less frightening because you no longer need to control everything. You simply need to trust yourself to handle whatever comes next. One of the most powerful changes you can make in your life is to stop waiting until you feel confident before you act confidently. Many people believe that confidence comes first and action comes second. They wait until they feel ready, until they know the outcome, until they have approval, until they are certain that nothing will go wrong. But real confidence is often built in the opposite direction. You act first, and through repeated action, your mind begins to believe in the person you are becoming. Ask yourself, how would you behave if you genuinely believed that your life could work out? You would probably stop overthinking every decision. You would stop begging people to understand your choices. You would stop constantly checking whether everyone approves of you. You would stop abandoning your plans every time something becomes difficult. You would become calmer. You would become more deliberate. You would take action without needing everything to be perfect. This does not mean pretending to be fearless. It means refusing to let fear make your decisions. Fear says, wait until you are certain. Wisdom says, move carefully but move. Fear says, what if you fail? Wisdom says, then learn, adjust, and continue. Fear says, what will people think? Wisdom says, what kind of person am I choosing to become? Your behavior is constantly teaching your mind what to believe about you. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen self-trust. Every time you complete something despite discomfort, you strengthen discipline. Every time you remain calm, instead of reacting emotionally, you strengthen your inner stability. This is why you should begin acting like the person you want to become before you have all the evidence that you have already become that person. If you want to become disciplined, behave like someone who honors commitments. If you want to become mentally strong, stop making every obstacle a reason to quit. If you want to become peaceful, stop feeding every unnecessary conflict. If you want to become successful, focus less on looking successful and more on developing valuable skills. Your future identity is created through present behavior. You do not become stronger by repeatedly telling yourself that you are strong. You become stronger by doing difficult things without abandoning yourself. So act with the quiet confidence that your efforts matter. Work without constantly demanding immediate results. Move without needing everyone to understand. Trust without becoming passive. You may not know exactly where the road will lead, but you can decide who will walk it. And when your actions begin matching the person you want to become, your circumstances gradually begin to change because you have changed the way you meet them.